So a few things here. Number one, I think there's a few realities that everybody has to come to terms with. We are still in a divided government. Democrats control the Senate and the White House. And by the way, it's fascinating. Nobody's even asking what Joe Biden thinks about what is happening right now. But in order to pass anything, it does need to have bipartisan support. You're going to need Democrats at a minimum in the Senate, but very likely in the House to support a continuing resolution. Number two, there cannot be a shutdown. I've been very clear about that in the past and remain fully committed to that. A shutdown does not solve anything. It doesn't save us money. It just creates unnecessary chaos, or as the French would say, a clusterfuck. So this is not that complicated. My frustration, frankly, was very straightforward, which is that number one, members need to be involved in the process. Number two, that if we were going to do a CR with the inclusion of all of these different priorities and many Democratic priorities, then we would have been better off finishing our appropriations work for fiscal year 25 before the 118th Congress ended, rather than doing a CR. And I said that well over a month ago. That kicking the appropriations process into the beginning of the Trump administration is not actually helpful to the former president and soon-to-be president again as we go through this. So that was my frustration with this. If you were going to do a omnibus-type CR, you were better off just doing the appropriations. Otherwise, do a clean CR with disaster and move forward. And that was really the point I was making.
Congressman, just to say, a lot of us remember, the old-fashioned days when they actually did budgets and appropriations in real time. I covered Congress at the time. So there's no question about that. But this was in the 11th hour, and that wasn't done for a variety of reasons, and not only because of Democrats. I think there's shared guilt for that.
Well, this has been 30 years of doing this wrongly.
I know.
It is both parties share responsibility for this. Nobody's hands are clean in it.
But I'm just saying, at the 11th hour, right before the holidays, at this stage, it was Elon Musk that jumped into this. I mean, nobody asked what he thought about it, but he offered more than 100 posts on X, what used to be called Twitter, and only then did the president-elect weigh in. And it's not clear who's leading, the charge here. Who's in charge, Elon Musk or Donald Trump?
I think it's very clear Donald Trump is in charge. And again, that's why Washington is responding to the president's concerns. I point out again, Joe Biden is the sitting president, and yet no one in the media nor the Democrats are even asking Joe Biden what his thoughts are.
We're asking. We're not just getting answers.
If you're asking, nobody's getting an answer,
no,
and that's part of the problem here. So,
what do you think should happen now? Who should step in?
Look, obviously, Donald Trump is going to inherit what is passed here. And so, obviously, his opinion matters in this conversation. Ultimately, we're going to need to pass a CR. We're not shutting the government down. I have never supported that and will not support that. We do need to pass a CR. I am waiting to see the details on what is being negotiated by the Speaker and leadership, as are many of my colleagues. But we're going to have to pass a CR and get us into the new year. This does not work to shut down the government just a few days before Christmas. So from my standpoint, obviously, the details matter, and we're waiting to see what the details are. But, we have to get to a place where, number one, members are included in the process. Number two, where we actually go through a rational appropriations process. We pass 12 appropriations bills through the House. And I'll remind you, Andrea, Senate Democrats under Chuck Schumer passed exactly 0 appropriations bills this year. 0. So we are in this situation because Washington does not have the muscle memory to actually do the job that it's elected to do. And we have to break this process. We have to get back to regular order. We have to allow a real appropriations process where members have input, where you actually legislate, and ultimately pass a fiscal year appropriations package. Just continuing to do CRs is not actually fixing the problem here.
Well, appropriation bills do start in the House, but let me ask you this. Where do you stand?
And we passed our appropriations bills, all 12 through committee, many of them through the House floor. The Senate Democrats, exactly zero.
Where do you stand on the Speaker? Are you now in sync? Which you're not usually, but are you in sync with the Freedom Caucus and others who believe he, should not have made these compromises, and is his speakership in jeopardy?
Look, anybody who's ever been married knows that you're not going to get everything you want, and you have to compromise in life. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself divorced. So the reality here is very simple. We have to negotiate. And again, I'll remind everybody, we are in a divided government still. Democrats control the Senate and the White House. So there's going to have to be a bipartisan negotiation. I don't have objection to that. I have objection to the process, and certainly the product itself was not ideal. But the fact is that there's going to have to be a bipartisan negotiation here. I support the Speaker. I'm not one calling for the Speaker to be removed. I think that's idiotic. The fact is, we cannot do anything until we elect a Speaker. And so if people want to certify Donald Trump's election on January 6th, you need a Speaker to do that. And if we have a fight over a Speaker on January 3rd, that is going to cause absolute chaos. So that is not going to help matters here. I think the bottom line here is let's get a product that has consensus and support, the president has weighed in on, and then we move forward.
I'm putting you down in favor of a clean CR, electing a Speaker, not getting divorced, and not having chaos, and having a
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to everybody.
Congressman, as always, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Andrea.